So for years I've been starting my mornings by sitting down with a notepad and writing down, in consultation with another to-do list, one that tends to grow in size. I'm sitting down writing a smaller high priorities list of all the things that I want to make sure I get done in the day ahead. So it's a kind of priority list of 3 to 5 main things. Try and keep it shorter. Sometimes it kind of unravels, and that's my fault, really. The ideal is to have your attention focused on a few things, and for the longest time, this would prove generally helpful, but for the longest time I'd find myself getting back in front of the book every morning and finding that there were tasks left over from the previous day and previous days and weeks that I had kept repeating. I'd refer to the previous list and then rewrite them down because I hadn't done them, I hadn't completed the task. And more often than not, these tasks would be things that made me cringe when I looked at them because they were important for me. It was things like working on my fiction novel or reaching out to new potential clients so that my coaching business grew, and I would neglect those things, and they tended to be the things that were important in my life as opposed to urgent. And that's really worth noting for you guys who want to be more productive and also want to really make a difference in the stuff that we do every day, because it can be very easy to kind of get lost in things that seem urgent, like emails, and you don't want to displease other people, and you end up jumping on tasks and getting busy and filling the day with seemingly valuable projects and tasks that actually end up not really making much of a difference in your life and not really moving the needle much. And I noticed that this was happening. So you might find yourself thinking that you're being productive in the day, but you're just filling it with stuff that doesn't really move anything. You're not. If you're wondering why, for example, you aren't growing your business and you aren't making tons of money and you're not growing, have a look at what kinds of tasks you're filling the day with. Maybe you're not filling the day with income producing leverage, high leverage activities that actually have the biggest impact on whether you can make more money. And I'm I can be very bad at this. I can get carried away with the easy stuff, the urgent stuff, the fun stuff, and neglect the really important high leverage stuff, like reaching out to people. And usually it's the things that bring a little bit more resistance, a little bit more fear, because we know that those things are important and we do care for those things in our lives, but it's of course catch-22. We end up neglecting the most important, the most critical things, the things that we would when we look back over our lives, when we're on our deathbeds and we think, God, I wish I'd done more of that. Well, those are the things that we can very easily neglect. And so what I was finding when I was writing down my to-do list for the day, my priorities list, I kept neglecting those important tasks. So that changed, although I'm still very much a student of this, and still very much it's a practice. You'll start from scratch every day. It's not like I've achieved mastery in this and I'm now an expert in being really productive, although my productivity's gone up, especially being productive on the things that matter the most, which is the really key thing. Sorry about the wind, guys. I read the book Eat That Frog by Brian Tracy, and that kind of got me thinking about important things versus urgent things. And he talks about how you want to put the important stuff earlier on in your day. So you want to start the day swallowing the frog, swallowing the difficult thing, the thing that brings the most resistance, the thing that is really going to add momentum to your life, the thing that's going to move the needle the most, the thing that you kind of have on your mind, but you're always putting it off and procrastinating about. Those are the things you want to put first as the highest priority in your list, and the things that you get done first. But not only that, so that helped me a lot, is just focusing on not only writing a list of priorities in anticipation of the day ahead, but also making sure that the things that get done first are the ones that are the hardest. Because when it's earlier in the day, got a dog barking at me, he knows the deal. He knows when it's earlier on in the day, You want to be taking advantage of your freshness, your keenness. You're more awake at that point, at least, you know, for most of us. And you want to take advantage of the harder things. So that's really key. Tackle the important stuff, the challenging stuff, the frogs earlier on in the day. And then so rather than doing the easy stuff first, do the harder stuff first. But then you might be saying, well, how do I do that if it's so challenging and I can't find the motivation to do it in the morning? And it's a really difficult challenge, and can't I start with something easy? Because then I at least get into the flow of it. Well, here's the thing. You can make the start of your day easy, even if you're focused on those important tasks, those tasks that matter the most. The way to do that is to take a piece of advice that I got from a guy called Steve Chandler, who's one of my mentors. He writes lots of amazing books about creativity and productivity. I recommend you read The Wealth Warrior is one, but Time Warrior is another one. Really good book, Steve Chandler. He talks about how you want to be committing to 3 minutes. 3 minutes. And not worry about doing any more than 3 minutes on those tasks. You can apply this to every task in your life. Everything on your to-do list could be attacked in 3-minute pieces. And what that does is it psychologically lessens the scale of the perceived challenge in front of you. And it makes it a lot easier to mentally approach whatever task it is, including exercise, writing, reaching out to new people, working on an illustration, doing your finances. Just commit to 3 minutes. Just say to yourself, okay, I'm going to do 3 minutes of reach out. I'm going to do 3 minutes of my accounts. And you might find, and it very often is the case, that you end up staying with the task much longer because you find yourself enjoying it. You realize that you're in it. You're present with it. Things are going much better than you thought because you're doing it. You're in it now. And I find this a lot. You know, I've committed 3 minutes, and because it's 3 minutes, I'm like, yeah, that's not too big. I'll do that. 3 minutes of reach out. I find myself an hour later still in the reach out because I'm in the flow of it. So that 3 minutes acts as a really nice step up, an easy step into those tasks. And you can apply that rule, the 3-minute rule, to every task that you do in your day. And in that sense, your day is now filled with lots and lots of 3-minute tasks, which is very, very easy on the brain psychologically. It's a nice way to encourage you to be more productive. So that's it. It's kind of 3-in-1 in this one. It's sit down this is what I suggest if you are struggling with productivity and getting things done and all that stuff and procrastination, is to sit down at the beginning of the day or at the night before, plan out the day. Plan your main 3 to 5 priorities. What are the important things that you need to get done today? Then you want to make sure that the first few things you do are the important things, not the urgent things. Unless it's really urgent, emergency-wise, of course, do those things. But focus on the important things, the things that move the needle in your life, the things that should be non-negotiable, the things that you're going to be proud of when you look back on your life on your deathbed. Get those things done first. Make those things, so number 3, make those things easier psychologically so that you're encouraged to do them and you feel more motivated about doing them by saying to yourself, I'm going to spend 3 minutes on this and that's it. I don't need to have any expectations beyond that. I'm going to do this. And you will find 8 times out of 10 that for those tasks that you spent 3 minutes in, you want to stay longer anyway. Because most of our problems come in the form of our thoughts. We overestimate how challenging or difficult things are going to be in our minds. We say, this is a big thing, I can't do this right now, I'm going to play video games. Of course, it's all in the mind. As soon as you get into it, and you'll notice this with anything that you do, it's always less frightening, it's always a lot easier, it's always a lot smoother than you think. Good luck. Let's be productive together, guys. And by the way, I don't get this right nearly enough of the time. I'm still, as I say, every day you're kind of starting fresh. So you have to remind yourself of this stuff every single day. So this is why I'm sharing it with you guys, because I'm sharing my own journey, and I want you guys to share with me on that journey. And love to hear your own feedback, your own thoughts, your own little life hacks and tricks. Always keen to hear from you guys in the comments below. Make sure you like this video. Do subscribe to Alex Mathers for more like this, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.